Okay, so in the last session we discussed about environmental here, right? The current version for 30 quarterly release and the
The
pod
version,
communication, yeah, all these references. These are clear, right? References.
yes, those things were clear. Also, I could able to relate the SitePass platform, how much it is capable of integrating with multiple data sources.
Okay, okay. So here this is an example of building a data lake project using SnapLogic pipeline. Okay, usually traditionally data lake project happens in 4 different phases, right? To capture, conform, refine, and deliver. So capture, which means we bring the data from various sources and data systems. It can be applications, it can be data systems. We bring data from data systems into the storage location. Here in this case, Amazon S3. Okay, using pipelines, we connect to any of these. So we can connect to
Okay.
any JDBC connective source or API-based source. So we bring data and load into a storage location in respective S3 buckets. Okay, that we call capture. And the conform, which means we apply conditions to the data. Okay, we convert the data types, data format, and restructure, and removing the error data. These kind of things will happen. The conform, we apply transformation or conditions to the data in the conform, okay, and put into respective the actual. Okay, here we have raw data. Here we have
Yes, and
structured data. Yeah, and the structured data will be pulled to will be pushed and loaded to Snowflake, which means a data warehouse.
so
Okay,
Snowflake
and
is our target, right?
yeah, in this case, Snowflake is the target data warehouse. Okay, the data lake system is about having the whole set of data from various data sources for analytic purpose, right?
Yes.
It is for that. And the processed data that we con moved here, that we processed here, will be loaded to Snowflake. Here data will be refined. The data structure, applying some conditions, transformation, anything will take place in the conform and will be the refined data will be moved to Snowflake, the data warehouse. It, it's Snowflake's the data warehouse capability to connect to any reporting system. Okay, it can be Tableau or it can be Power BI, any other reporting tool. Here we see the visualization dashboards. This is a traditional data lake architecture. So this entire thing we can build using SnapLogic pipelines. Okay, in all these 4 phases, capture, we bring data from sources and do load into S3, and we restructure, applying some conditions to the data in S3 within S3 with our pipelines, and we load data from S3 to Snowflake with our pipelines, and we can also load data from Snowflake to the reporting tool Tableau with our pipelines. It can be Power BI also. So let's say we have chosen Microsoft products here. Okay, the storage location would be Azure Blob Storage. Data warehouse would be Azure SQL or Azure Synapse, and reporting tool would be Power BI. Hope you're getting it,
Yes.
right?
Yes, got it. So you explain me another one similar situation, how the data flow will be happening.
Yeah, and this is an data lake project.
So could you just go back to that old slide? Like just
Yeah.
one part which I got confused. Like we are
Mm.
capturing from either any one of the sources like Salesforce, Mongo, Marketo, or anything send us. So capture in
Yeah.
the sense that we see some Amazon S3, right? Like, so that does that represent some temporary data storage area or like
Yeah. Yeah. Understand this as a staging.
stagings? Okay,
Yeah. So this can happen periodically, right? Bringing
periodically.
data
Okay,
from sources, and let's say we need to refresh the data, refresh the dashboards every week. Okay, we schedule the jobs. The entire process will happen once a week.
okay. So this Amazon S3 will be generic or it will be varying.
Yeah, here this is an example of using S3. I said about if you choose Microsoft, it will be Azure Blob Storage.
Azure DevOps.
Yeah. Okay. If
Got it.
you choose Google Cloud, it will be Google Storage.
So is it mandatory we should define on temporary data like cloud form when we get data from one source to target
Yeah, this is an architecture. Okay.
marketing?
Traditional architecture. Yeah. Building a data lake. It can
Okay,
vary.
can be. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It depends on the data and the use cases. But this is a traditional way.
Traditional ways. So
Yeah.
why I
Staging the
got
data.
confused was I saw on video the source
Mm,
was something and it was targeted to Salesforce. What they did was like they just applied multiple snaps and I didn't saw any
mm,
connection with any of the AWS or Google Cloud or anything. That's what I thought.
mhm. Anyway, we will once we
Yeah,
start working on with the Python, you will understand more.
understand. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
We can continue.
Right. The terminology. Okay. We'll discuss about the terminology we use. We frequently use uh, further. Okay. So this is another illustration. Okay. The SnapLogic capabilities. Here we say connect. Okay. Connecting various applications. Exchange data means exchange transferring or exchanging data between the applications or across the applications, and managing the integration and performing transformation, predicting data, which means AI models and machine learning models in this case. Okay, all these are the high level capabilities. Okay, we see the terminology snaps. As you might have already understood, snaps are the small functional units in SnapLogic. Okay, they are the actual data processors. So each snap has its own capability, right? When we say file reader has the capability of reading a file, bringing a file actually, and directory browser has the capability of browsing the list of files in a directory, in a given directory, and the functionality of Excel parser is to parse an Excel file. This way, there are many snaps. Each snap has its own functionality and its own. Okay, and the nodes are the servers where we run the pipeline, where the SnapLogic uh, containers are installed. With these nodes, we usually call it as JCC, which means Java Code Container. Do you have an idea on Java JVM?
So
Okay, it's a Java virtual machine, usually termed as JVM. Okay,
JVM.
inside this, yeah, Java code runs. Since SnapLogic is built with Java,
On
yeah, the entire the Snaplex, the package was built on Java code. So we call it as JCC, Java Code Container. So you
Yeah.
have two servers. In two servers, you install SnapLogic packages and start the nodes. So each node is a separate server. Okay? It can be VM, it can be a separate server. And the group of nodes together, we call it as SnapLogic. Okay, it's like a cluster. Under one SnapLogic, we will have multiple nodes. This segregation we will understand when we see dashboard. Okay, and the pattern is a reusable type of pipeline. Let's say you have a Salesforce to uh, Redshift connectivity. So you need to use this connectivity for various use cases. Okay, you need to rebuild the same pipelines. I mean, with the same in the same pattern. You need to rebuild several use cases. For that, you can create a pipeline and make it as a pattern, which can be reused. Which means we are keeping a templates. Hope you are getting it.
Yes.
Okay.
Patterns we can easily replicate when we develop a pipeline and
Yeah, it's like a template available there. We bring it, we
right.
modify it. That's it.
Like this.
Yeah, you can create a pattern pipeline and place it there.
Yes.
So anybody in your team or in your organization can use it
We
for
use it.
common use. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Next, we'll see the Snaplex types. Okay. Since we are discussing about snaps and nodes in the Snaplex and nodes, there are two types of Snaplexes. Okay. The two types based on the connectivity. Okay, Cloudplex and Groundplex. There is one more plex called Extremeplex, and now it is not available. It is deprecated. This is this.
okay.
It was only for big data Hadoop, and now it is not available. Okay. Now we have only Cloudplex and Groundplex.
Doubtless.
Cloudplex, yeah, means uh, it is given by the SnapLogic team. Okay, you just as a client, as a customer, you use it. You buy the Cloudplex from SnapLogic team. So you need a Snaplex. It's according to your load and your pipelines, the number of pipelines and executions. You need a Cloudplex with 4 nodes, which 4 GB RAM and 4 core CPU. You just use it. It is created, managed, and maintained. Everything will be taken care by the SnapLogic team. And this is in the control of SnapLogic team. We do not have any control on this. We just use it. Okay, it is in the
Doubtless.
AWS cloud. Yeah, Cloudplex. So we
Doubtless.
just pay for it. We bring Cloudplex. They will provision it. We just pay for it and use it.
Like
And we do not have any kind of control. When there are any issues with the Cloudplex nodes, we will reach out to the SnapLogic team. Okay,
support.
yeah, support. So this is purely managed by the SnapLogic team, and they will have it in the SnapLogic cloud, which means AWS. Okay. If we don't want to manage the servers and all your systems, okay, endpoint systems are present in the cloud, then it is recommended to use Cloudflex. Okay, because you do not have to manage it. You do not need a separate DevOps engineer or server admin to be present. If all your endpoints are in the cloud, okay, like you have Redshift, you have Azure SQL, you have Salesforce, you have NetSuite. All these are cloud applications and cloud data systems. There's no connectivity and there is no system you have to connect to on-premise, which means your network, your VPN. In that case, you can simply you can simply have a Cloudplex, which will be managed by the SnapLogic team. You access it to run your pipelines there. Okay.
So it will be really based on our use cases and our source and target. If it's a cloud-based one, we'll be going with Cloudplex. So it's a grounded
Correct.
one, we'll be going for an app version of SnapLogic Groundplex.
Correct. Groundplex means we will provision the server, we will install the SnapLogic. Server admin has to do all these things. Okay. We need to install, set up the network, Groundplex network, connectivity, the firewalls, everything that we manage the server. Okay. And Groundplex is recommended when you have systems that connect to your on-premise network. Let's say Oracle systems, SAP systems are mostly on-premise, right? They will be installed in your data center or in your Azure VPN or VPC or AWS VPC, which can't be connected to any other cloud, right? In that case, you can have Groundplex. You need to provision a Groundplex, and this Groundplex can be in the cloud or in your uh, on-premise data center also. Okay, this purely means when we need on-premise connectivity, we use Groundplex, and this runs behind our firewall. Right, between the Groundplex and the internet, we will have a firewall, which is for the network security. Here, if this will be taken care, all the security and firewall systems will be taken care by the SnapLogic team. Okay, hope you are clear on this, because this is very important when we take decisions and
Yes.
in the deployment model. Okay, so the communication flow. So when do we use Groundplex and Cloudplex? How the use case will happen, data communication will happen. This is an important slide to understand. Let's say we are operating SnapLogic, we are creating pipelines, everything in the browser session, in the internet, right? That connects to SnapLogic control plane, which in the internet AWS cloud. Let's say you have a Cloudplex and you have a Groundplex, both. So when do you have to use one? Here it shows. The SnapLogic control plane is the Cloudplex is part of the control plane. Okay, it can be in the same VPC or different VPC, but available to the internet. Here we are connecting. In this case, we use the Cloudplex. In a case where we connect to systems like cloud apps and data systems, Oracle NetSuite, Salesforce, Azure, Snowflake, ServiceNow, REST APIs, internet-based applications, Workday, all these are cloud. Right? So here, the important thing to understand, when we connect to Groundplex or Cloudplex, what about the data security? Okay, it always there is no data transfer between SnapLogic Cloud and the SnapLogic node. Only metadata transfers. Here it can be Cloudplex or it can be Groundplex. Let's say you executed a pipeline. Okay, in the year you triggered a pipeline, which means an event initiates in the SnapLogic control plane that sends metadata, the pipeline's metadata, to the node. If you select Cloudplex, to the Cloud SnapLogic node. If you select Groundplex, to the Ground SnapLogic node. It sends only the metadata. There is no data transfer here. Hope you're getting it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, only the metadata transfer here. Here, node will prepare the pipeline, loading the metadata. Will prepare the configurations, all the libraries, everything that required by the pipeline. It prepares and initiates the connection to the actual data system. So here you say between the control plane and the node only metadata. Between the node and the target system or the source system, the data transfer happen. The only difference is that this is behind our network's firewall, and this is in the cloud, which is AWS, SnapLogic AWS Cloud. Okay, hope this is clear, this picture, entire picture.
Yes, I got a picture of this. On
Okay.
seeing is the whole flow. So the ultimate
Um,
goal will be one, but the process happening in backend will be slightly different depending on our cloud pledge of numbers.
yeah, functionality is same. There is no change at all. Okay. Only difference is that you will maintain GroundPlex and SnapLogic will maintain CloudPlex.
Cloud pledge.
Okay. The functionality will now differ. Okay. Here also you will have metadata. Here also you will have only metadata. And nodes will not do cache or stage of any data. It just does the processing. Okay. We bring data to the node. We do processing and move it to target. And then the session ends. When the connection ends, data will not be there. There's no storing of data or caching of data, actual data in the node. Okay. In very few cases, data staging will happen. Okay. There is one option for that. We can stage the data when we are working with a large set of files, 1 GB of file or 2 GB of file. There's an option to stage the data, which means first node will store the file, that large file, in a temp location. And then once the whole file is received, it will do the process of the data. And once the pipeline completes, it will delete it. I'll show you where when we see the files processing. Okay, the SnapLogic cloud architecture. Since we are discussing and I'm frequently talking about control plane, what are things present in the control plane? It's a very big thing, right? The control plane means the SnapLogic cloud present in the AWS network. It has several things, several components, and at a high level, from a user point of view, we will see the UI. Okay, what we see in the UI. The designer manager dashboard, everything is operating in the browser is from the control plane. Okay, this control plane we have SnapLogic, which means CloudPlex. CloudPlex will have this separate VPC. Okay, let's say this is your on-premise SnapLogic. This is CloudPlex. Okay, control plane will connect to your on-premise GroundPlex and also connects to CloudPlex.
Cloud pledge. So it's a kind
Yeah,
of hybrid operating one. Either we can connect with cloud pledge or ground pledge.
yeah, hybrid. So this is entirely since SnapLogic is entirely in the AWS. Inside the AWS network, the control plane cloud, we will have cloud plexes in one VPC and all other SnapLogic systems into another VPC. Okay, SnapLogic has several systems like S3, Redshift, SQS, Amazon RDS, DynamoDB, all the and it has other servers also. They are called proxy servers. In between, before this, okay, the first layer of control plane is proxy servers. proxy and load balancing will happen in the front, and then the connection goes to any of these services. Okay, it can be SnapLogic, it can be our DB storage or any other service. So first layer is the proxy and load balancer will handle any request. Okay, and here in all these places only the metadata stores in the Elastic Cloud. No data will be stored. And as it shows here, the execution engine, which means data plane, the entire thing, hosted by the SnapLogic, and on-premise, which is our Groundplex, can run on behind our firewall and on your own Azure VPC also. Your Groundplex can be in AWS network also. It can be on your laptop also. You can install a SnapLogic package. Okay,
Yes.
we'll go to
So,
deployment
yes.
models. Yeah, do you have any question there?
No.
Okay. So these are the important deployment models to understand and take a decision when to use Groundplex, when to use Cloudplex. Okay. The first, we have a use case that connects to where source and target both are in the cloud. Okay. Let's say we are bringing data from Salesforce and loading it to S3. Both are in the cloud. In this case, it is recommended to use Cloudplex since you will have less hops because both are in the cloud. Okay. When you think about the connectivity hops between your Groundplex and the end system, compare it with the Cloudplex and the end system. I'm talking about the network hops. Okay. When you have your Groundplex node, it connects to your VPC or your LAN first, right? First, it goes to your gateway, and then goes to the service provider, then goes to internet cloud, and then it connects to AWS network or Salesforce network. There will be multiple hops. That number of hops will be reduced when you use Cloudplex. So you will have better performance. Are you getting it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And see, in the other case, we have a use case. We bring data from Workday, which is in the cloud, and we need to push it to on-premise system like SAP here. In this case, we do not have the um, connectivity of our on-premise system to use Cloudplex, right? Only our network, which is present in our intranet, will have the connectivity to our system. So we use Groundplex. So here, our Groundplex will have connectivity to cloud system and also on-premise system. So here we will use Groundplex, cloud to ground. Okay, and here you may have a question. Here, since your Groundplex has connectivity to this source system and also the target system, when to
Yeah.
use what?
Yes.
Okay, here the simple thing, where is the target location?
The target would be SAP, right? Or
Yeah, here target is SAP, which means our
so how would
SAP.
it be connected to the ground? Like from cloud, we can synchronize using the security token and all this stuff. So towards ground, so how it will be?
Mm, I didn't get it. Could you repeat that?
From cloud source, we can connect Workday with their security token and their API and their URL. So
Mhm.
connecting to a ground plus in the sense SAP will be installed in that as application in the system, right? So the target how will be transferring into the cloud?
Yeah, it depends on the endpoint. Okay, some endpoints require some packages, right? SAP requires some
Package.
package, right? In this case,
Okay,
let's take Oracle. Oracle does not
okay,
require any package. Sometimes it requires for bulk operations. We need to have the bulk utility to be installed. Okay, in such
okay.
cases,
So I hope you got my question. Like SAP is staying the system as a ground source and Workday is a cloud source.
correct.
So connecting SAP wouldn't be a much
Yeah,
harder one,
your
right?
groundplex in this. Yeah, your groundplex will connect to your source and target both. Okay, so here
Okay,
it can be you are bringing data from SAP, loading it to Workday, or you are bringing data from Workday and loading it to SAP, vice versa.
got it, got it, got it.
In both cases, you will use only groundplex.
Both ways. So,
Okay, let's understand. Okay, let's think out of the scope. Okay, usually in
okay.
a in a data connectivity system, any data system or a database system, we choose the connectivity, not about the connectivity, the write operation where we are writing the data to our server to be near to that, right? Read operation can be faster from the larger or broad network also, but write operation will take time, right? Write operation is a time consuming operation in a data system point of view, in a DB point of view. Write operation is
Got it.
a expensive operation compared to read. So the server where we are writing to our, let's say your source is present somewhere in the other data center in the US. Okay, I'm talking about a simple scenario, not within the SnapLogic. Okay, you have two data centers. Okay, in this case, you have two ground plexes, kind of. Okay, you have uh, data center in US. You have data center in India. Your your source location, okay, where you bring data from is present in the US data center, and you need to write it to some application in the India data center. In that case, which servers you choose? That's a generic question, right?
Yes,
Which
generic
server we
one.
need to choose? Because my US can connect to that system, my India can also connect to your system. Both will have connectivity because everything is in my network only, my intranet. But we need to take a decision which one will give better performance. The write operation will is an expensive operation, so we choose the, the server which is closer to my data loading system, data writing system. So in this case, I am bringing data from US data center, loading it to uh, an application connecting to India data center. So write operation will take place to India system, right? So I will choose India data center. Hope you got me.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, that anyway, that is beyond this. Okay,
Beyond, yes, it's a kind of
related.
out of the box stuff.
Yeah, to the box. That is a generic in any solution, not only SnapLogic, in any data solution. And this is the other use case, ground to ground. Here you do not have to connect to any on-premise systems. You are your source and target both are present within your system, within your data center or within your intranet. You're bringing data from SAP, loading it to Oracle. In this case, you do not have to connect to any Cloudplex. You do not need Cloudplex because Cloudplex cannot connect to on-premise systems, right? And also one more point I think I missed. SnapLogic does not allow any customizations. on CloudPlex. That's also one of the reasons you need to have a GroundPlex. Okay, let's say you want to do some modifications in the logging like a log4j. Okay, that SnapLogic does not allow users to do any customization in the system in the GroundPlex nodes because they are present in their premises, SnapLogic teams premises, and they are automated nodes actually. They are automated VMs. So it is impossible to do customization for customers. That's the reason they do not allow any customizations. If any user wants, any client wants something to be changed, like some logging to be file to be updated, some connections or some configurations to be made, they recommend to use ground. Okay. So this is clear, right? Down to ground.
Got it.
Okay. The hybrid. Okay. This you will now easily understand when I talked about an example.
Yes,
Out of the
you
box
recommend.
example, right?
Out of the box.
Here, yeah, we have the necessity to connect to both on-premise system and also cloud system. We need to bring data from, let's say, Salesforce. Okay, we need to read data from Salesforce, load it to SAP. Here, the Salesforce, I have a Cloudplex and Groundplex both. Okay, my Cloudplex doesn't have connectivity to SAP, so I cannot use it. Okay, in this case, my Groundplex will have connectivity to both source and target, but there can be many restrictions. Some organizations will have restrictions, okay, connecting to on-premise and cloud. Okay, here in our use case, we need to use Groundplex for our on-premise system and Cloudplex for a cloud system. How do we do in that case? How do we bring data from there and load it here? This, with respect to data gravity, we need to choose where the right operation is present and the SnapLogic connectivity is present. Here we have the connectivity present. And the important thing we need to understand, the connectivity between Cloudplex and Groundplex should be present. And this is a mandatory recommended thing actually. You have multiple SnapLogics. Okay, it can be Cloudplexes. You have 2-3 Cloudplexes and 2-3 Groundplexes. In each you will have multiple nodes, like each has 3 or 4 nodes. Okay, all your nodes, okay, all your nodes in your plexus should have connectivity to others. Like they should be able to communicate to each other. Are you getting me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in this case, Cloudplex cannot connect to SAP, but Cloudplex can connect to Groundplex because here also SnapLogic package installed. Here also SnapLogic package installed. In both servers, SnapLogic is running. So they both will communicate each other, and they both will communicate to respective data source. Here on Cloudplex, we will select Cloudplex to bring data from Salesforce and pass the data to Groundplex. And Groundplex will load the data to SAP. So one of the use case we did implemented, this is a very rare use case actually. Okay, one of the use cases we implemented 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was about Hive. Hive we need to read data from Hive, which means Hadoop system. Okay, it is on premise, and we need to load it to several spaces. First, we load it to S3. In that case, we implemented this hybrid model. Okay, this is just an example use case. Here in
Got it.
this example is for recipe. Another example, Hadoop to AWS. Okay, architecture. It is just a revisit of the same kind of architecture. Okay. What is present here? Okay, this is to recap our understanding on Cloudflix and the Groundflex. Okay, this is a SnapLogic cloud present in the cloud. Okay, in the AWS cloud, connects to Cloudflex. Cloudflex will connect to the endpoint systems. Same way, SnapLogic will connect to Groundflex. Groundflex will connect to on-premise systems. And in their both cases, you will see metadata between SnapLogic and Groundflex, metadata between SnapLogic and Cloudflex. The data transfer, you see black. Here you see gray. The black indicates the data. Data transfer between cloud apps and Groundflex and ground apps and Groundflex. In between, our firewall. So any client will have, any Groundflex will have firewall, right? Some ports and systems we need to connect. So we need to enable the ports. Let's say we are connecting to some SFTP. Okay. For SFTP, it can be cloud SFTP or on-premise SFTP. Usually for SFTP, the port number is 22, and they can be customized ports also. I want to read a file from an SFTP system, and for that, host and the port firewall should allow the connection. Hope you're getting me right.
Then higher level overview of this architecture that we
Correct. Yeah.
discussed.
Yeah. Okay. Now we see the features. Okay. You can also think the advantages of SnapLogic. As I mentioned before, streaming. That SnapLogic does. Our SnapLogic nodes do data streaming, and no data is stored or cached. It can be Cloudflex, it can be Groundflex, okay, it can be uh, SnapLogic Cloud. Nowhere the data is stored. Only data streaming will happen. Okay. The other, easily design and monitor and manage. We have three components, right? Once we log in, I'll show you. You might have already seen, right? Design, monitor, designer, manager, and dashboard. All three in the
Yes.
same UI, right? We build a pipeline, we do administration of the platform, we do monitor the executions and look for insights. Everything is in the same UI that is user friendly, right? And on premise, as we talked about this till now, SnapLogic supports on premise and cloud environments both. We can run our pipelines according to our feasibility and the connectivity, and it supports cloud, ground, and also hybrid. You see automated tasks. I brought this point. We have three types of automated tasks. Okay, we will discuss further. One is scheduled, the other is triggered. Okay, which will be called by an API. And the third one is ultra, which is always on running. Whenever data present, it will immediately process with no delay. That is an ideal approach for real-time integrations, where we do not expect latency, but in real-time use cases. And Elastic, we can easily scale out and handle data and application integration. There's no limit on the number of pipelines you create on SnapLogic. Okay, and you can store files in the manager UI, which we call as SLDB. that has a limit of 100 MB. The file storage cannot be beyond 100 MB. Okay, so any file you want to store that is more than 100 MB, you need to choose some storage location. It cannot be in the UI. Okay, and there's no limit on the number of files. Okay, you can have hundreds of pipelines, thousands of pipelines, thousands of files. Okay, and also several tasks, and there's no limit on that. And you can easily scale out the SnapLogic also. Okay, let's say you have your SnapLogic has 4 nodes today. Okay, you want to add you will be having more executions pipeline load. Okay, your load will be significantly increasing. You need to have more nodes present. It can be horizontal scaling or vertical scaling. You can easily add without any impact on the pipelines or the actual execution. And I will tell you how that load balancing will happen when we discuss about pipeline execution flows. Okay, and encryption. It is very important to know about encryption, right? Because we are working with many confidential values, confidential information. That the accounts information I'm talking about. Let's say you connect to DB, right? For the DB, you will give DB host name, DB username, password, port number, everything. That will be stored in the SnapLogic cloud information, right? And that information will be encrypted and then stored. Account information. Okay, that usually has two types of encryptions: standard encryption and enhanced encryption. Okay. Do you have some idea on the encryption part? SSL keys.
It's like what we see in our day-to-day WhatsApp and all those stuff, like encrypted data. It's not even not accessible by SnapLogic itself. That's what it meant.
Um, it is little deeper, this concept. Do you have an idea on SSL?
No.
Okay, okay. Yeah, if you would like to know, I can take a couple of minutes to explain. Do you want?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Let's say we use SSL keys, right, for any encryption. Encryption will happen only with the keys, right? Usually, the encryption happens with the public, with a combination of public and private keys, the SSL keys, to say. SSL keys will have algorithms, different types of mechanisms, encryption algorithm mechanisms. And here, let's talk about standard encryption first. Standard encryption will happen with the keys, SSL keys generated by SnapLogic. Okay. In some environments, in some customer environments, like banks, okay, banks is financial data is more secure than anything else, right? So some environment like banks. Okay, I forgot the bank name. Uh, Hampshire Bank. I forgot. I don't remember the bank name. And yeah, I remember the Emirates Airlines. You know, right?
Okay.
Emirates Airlines. You know, the airlines in UAE. Let's take an example of that. So they have SnapLogic infrastructure. Okay, they are using their processing a lot of integrations, and they do not want SnapLogic generated keys to encrypt their data. Okay, they want to use their own certificates. They will manage, they will create, and they will manage the certificates, SSL certificates, which are more advanced and which are trusted by their vendors. They will buy from their vendors. They will buy the SSL certificates and they will use them on SnapLogic to encrypt their data. In that case, they have the option to use enhanced encryption method. This gives more advanced features which fields to be encrypted and which certificates to be used for encryption. That kind of options. This is a subscription feature. If you want to use enhanced encryption, there are several topics you need to know, and you need to maintain your own keys, and the keys have certain validity, right? Usually they are between 3 to 6 months. When the keys expire, before the expiry, we need to replace the new SSL keys. They call key rotation, okay, certificates rotation. That is about enhanced encryption. Hope you got the clear picture.
Yes, I got it. SSL encryption codes.
Sorry?
I got it. Regarding the SSL encryption codes.
Okay. Fine. So subscription features. So SnapLogic has not only the UI that we operate, it has some other tools also available. Okay, one of them is API management tool. SnapLogic has an API management tool like APG, Service Gateway, or any other API management tool. SnapLogic also has an API management tool. We need to subscribe. It is like additional cost for the client. And other is Ultra. I said another type of tasks for real-time integration, Ultra, right? When we talk about automated tasks. That is also a subscription feature. And also, enhanced encryption is also a subscription feature. These features will make some additional cost. Okay, like this, one more tool is called Flows. That is again a different tool in the different UI. So for all these tools, they do not available with a standard SnapLogic UI. They need to purchase. Then only they are available. Okay. See the communication flow. This is just to recap what we understood. How when you run a pipeline, how the communication flow happens. This is just to illustrate what we discussed here. Okay. You triggered a pipeline. You run a pipeline in the UI, or it can be automated job. Okay. Control plane initiates, prepares the pipeline, and gives the data. Not prepare actually. Prepares the metadata, brings metadata, and sends to SnapLogic node. It can be any SnapLogic. It simply sends to SnapLogic node, one of the nodes in a cluster. A node will load the metadata and prepare the pipeline, loading the required library and the configurations. Okay, that's a your pipeline connects from it has two endpoints. Source is Salesforce, target is Redshift. So node will prepare the libraries to perform operations to Salesforce and Redshift. That is called a pipeline preparation. It will prepare the pipeline. Once the pipeline is prepared, it will initiate the connection to the end service, the endpoint. Hope this is clear.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we already discussed about the architecture. We will see the main components. Okay, the main components
So,
of the
sir,
internet.
can we continue this one tomorrow?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the time.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no
So,
problem. Because, my work timing is like 11 o'clock, so I have to leave at 10:30 at least. That's it. Mm.
all right, fine. And
Yeah.
what about
So,
today's item? Monday
What
at
about
the
today?
same time.
What about Saturday, Sunday? Are you free? We can connect it in one of the day, either
Yeah,
Saturday
usually
or Sunday.
I'll have sessions on weekends, but this weekend I'll be moving out. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
traveling.
no problem. Yeah, okay, we can connect on Monday. No.
I'll see the feasibility. Okay, may I know when
Yeah,
are you available? If I am free on weekend.
yeah, anytime is fine. You can just ping me and WhatsApp you. If you are available, we can connect up and have it.
Mm, then we'll see. Tomorrow, same time, 9 to 10, we can connect.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I'll be here at home till 11 a.m. So tomorrow,
Yeah.
same time,
Okay.
we'll connect.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right then. Thank you.